Obviously, it's been looking difficult for a while, and unfortunately, without the right victories in the last couple of months, where we've had the opportunity to give ourselves a better chance of survival, we haven't taken that. So, you know, the inevitable has happened tonight for me. I think these players should have got themselves in a position where we were still fighting to stay out of the relegation situation.
Well, Mikel, after the disappointment of Thursday night, how important was that result and to end the week on a positive?
It's what we needed. Go through that defeat, that disappointment, not being in the final for very small margins, and try to win again. And the best way to do it is with the right attitude, the right commitment, and showing that we still care and there is something to play for in the Premier League.
Yeah, I think it was really important for us today to get the 3 points. You know, it's been a disappointing week for us, but yeah, I feel like it was important for us to bounce back, and I feel like we did that today. Kai managed to find me in the box, and you know, it was a pretty good finish with my left foot. So yeah, I'm happy with the goal today.
You know, whoever's here in the next few years, we can take that experience and hopefully, like I said, go straight back up next year, and you know, we'll be stronger for it.
How key will that be? That phrase, whoever's here, keeping the group together as much as possible, or how hard is that going to be?
Well, I'm sure it will be difficult, but you know, that's for the people above me to sort out, and you know, I have full confidence in them and that they'll give us a team, you know, really well equipped to fight next year for automatic promotion, and hopefully we can get the manager situation sorted out, you know, as soon as possible, and you know, I have full confidence that we can do it.
I wonder whether these stats that we're going to show you show how important it might be for them to get their managerial situation started out for next season. We've split their season into thirds. You can see they obviously struggled under Slaven Bilic at the start and under Sam Allardyce in his first 10 games. That's happened before, Jermaine. We saw it at Crystal Palace. You know, lost his first 8, I think, there before they got going. Should the appointment have been made sooner, or do you just look at that and go, that's why they need to keep him for next season?
Yeah, I think it's easy to kind of look at things in hindsight and go, should have been sooner. I think even at the time, I thought it was very early. And if I'm totally honest, my opinion was that they didn't give Bilic enough time. But what this does tell you is, yeah, I think, you know, they need to keep Sam Allardyce in place. There's been a clear progression and improvement over the last 12 games. You just saw that in their stats there, and you can see that visually as well. And I think we've seen with the teams that have gone down, Watford and Bournemouth, Watford and Norwich in particular, that keeping hold of their players is paramount to making sure you can bounce back, when that is now West Brom's trail of thought in terms of can they do that.
It's really key to sort that out sooner rather than later. I mean, he's got the experience. He's had 3 promotions, 2 to the Premier League, so he knows his way around down there. And they need to make that appointment very quick.
When you look at Norwich as an example, you know, Norwich managed to keep hold of the majority of their side that went down, particularly Buendia, who's been instrumental in bringing them back. So you could say there's a similar decision to come for West Brom with Mateus Pereira.
Well, there's no doubt about it. They'll have inquiries for him, and quite a few, because he's been a shining light for them this season. 10 goals and 5 assists, and this sort of summed him and West Brom up, I think, this season, and is that if they were going to get back into the game, it was going to be him that did something special, and that happened. I mean, he was driving the ball forward. Everything that was good about West Brom was coming through him. I mean, this is a brilliant goal. Look where he picks it up. Ceballos is towing a truck there, isn't he? He's never going to get near him at all. He goes past 3 or 4 of them and sticks it into the corner. What is he, £9 million from Sporting and Lisbon he cost. So there's no doubt about it that there'll be stacks of inquiries about him.
Norwich, I suppose, had more assets that people were interested in. So Norwich could say, all right, sell Ben Godfrey to Everton and then try and keep the others. You wonder whether the same options would be available for West Brom. And it depends on the player. Yeah,
and also, you know, I think we have to factor in the improvement of West Brom. Maitland-Niles is on loan. Conor Gallagher is on loan as well. Those players are obviously going to return. It also depends on West Brom's financial structure. You know, do they have to sell? Can they keep hold of him? I think the reality is that there's going to be inquiries for him, and he's probably warranted the ability to stay in the Premier League.
As far as Arsenal were concerned, they were absolutely dominant down their left side.
I'd never seen anything like it down one side. Saka, I can't speak highly enough of this player. I really can't. I think all season he's been the shining light for Arsenal, and probably the only one. And being so young, a lot has been asked of him at times. He's played right wing, he's played left wing, he's played in behind the front. Today, his manager asked him to play left back, and he was still the best player on the pitch from left back. You know, and arguably Mikel Arteta's biggest game of the season. This is the one player that he can always rely on. In their biggest moments, he has an impact on the game, and he did it continuously today. They offered him this left-hand side freely. He puts in cross after cross until eventually he's like, well, you can't give me too many chances because I will pick out my man, and he does exactly that with that lovely ball to Emile Smith-Rowe, who just sticks it away nicely. But he just ghosted into these positions on a regular basis. And it was just, I was thinking at one point, what are West Brom thinking?
Yeah.
Someone has to pick him up, or someone has to say, listen, I'll just stick on Saka, I'll man-to-man mark him.
But they didn't.
They didn't. And it was driving runs like this that continued in the second half. And, you know, in what has been a shocker of a season for Arsenal and Mikel Arteta, you know, there's been some young players that can hold their heads up high and really look forward to next season, I think. But this guy
he's the leader of them.
He's the leader. He is the most important player in that Arsenal team, in my opinion.
Do you know what I think was telling today? That game was so important for Mikel Arteta today. He probably knew, and the Arsenal fans probably knew, that had been going after him even more than they would if he had lost that game today. He left out Aubameyang, he left out Lacazette, he left out, what was it, 45 million Partey,
yeah.
And he played the two youngsters. And I think that was telling today.
OK, on